Hello and welcome back to Sumatra, Indonesia from Banda Aceh, the provincial capital of Aceh province. I am right here by the main mosque in this park. In this video, I'm going to be exploring the city, which is renowned for its Sharia law. The media will tell you that. Since arriving on the bus yesterday, I have found nothing but friendliness so far. Everyone's smiling, saying hello, and people are very polite here. So I'm sure I'm going to see more of that and hopefully show a bit of that in this video, while I try to go and show a bit more to this city than what you'll read in the media. The Masjid Raya Baitur Rahman, also known as the Baitur Rahman Grand Mosque. So I've taken off my shoes so I can walk on the marble floor around the perimeter of the mosque, which was first built by the Dutch in 1879 after the first one was burnt down. It's got this striking ebony color on its black domes and beautiful white walls and pillars dating back to the 19th century. I was just told by the guys over there when I gave my shoes that I'm not allowed inside the mosque. I also wasn't allowed in one in Medan after 5 p.m, but it's much earlier in the day right now. But I have to adhere to the rules, so I will not go inside. I will just show you from out here. The mosque is one of the few places to have survived the earthquake and tsunami from 2004, and so many locals interpreted it as a divine intervention from God, given its history and importance to this city and region. Okay. England.
English.
English.
What's your name? What's your name?
Group photo. Hello.
Photo.
Photo? Well, that was intense. I've just escaped to the back of the mosque here. I had probably 20 minutes of pictures in a row just there. I don't know how many were taken, more than 50. Once a few people see you, then more and more tend to come. Okay, I actually had to just leave the mosque because the pictures were becoming a bit too much. By the end, it was hard to smile. I already spoke in the last video about what Aceh is like regarding Sharia law. There is a ban on alcohol, of course, gambling, and there are dress code restrictions. Women have to wear hijabs if they're Muslim, and then also if you're not married, you cannot be in a private space with a member of the opposite sex. Like other Islamic countries, there are rules against homosexuality as well. There are punishments like jail time and lashes for breaking the rules. Even if you're a non-Muslim while visiting Aceh province, you should respect the rules. Don't walk around in shorts and a vest. Wear trousers when you go to places, and dress conservatively and act conservatively. No public displays of affection. That's enough about the Sharia law and all of that. I had to obviously mention it in the video. Evacuation route signs in case of a repeat of the horrific scenes of Boxing Day. Hello. Picture? Okay. Now I am hungry and it is time for lunch. So what better place than the city's most famous warung, Lem Bakri.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looks good. I didn't even ask for anything. They were already just putting plates down. So apparently you only pay for what you touch. I'm probably going to end up eating everything, but that's no problem for me. This is where you come to sample the city's Akanese cuisine, and the dishes keep on coming. I am overwhelmed by the choice here. This is a curry with jackfruit and some meat there, multiple other curries. Right, so you might be able to see behind me, everyone here is either a fairly wealthy business trip or group of people, maybe from a different part of Indonesia. Everyone from locals to big shots, even the president, Joko Widodo, came here, which says something about the place and its reputation. So I'm at the point where I am getting really stuffed. I've had a mutton jackfruit curry dish and one with some mussels in the kind of spicy seafood sauce. The dried onion and beef dish with chili is nice. And then I also had a vegetable dish, and I touched this sambal with prawn. The rest I haven't attempted because I'm not going to finish any of it and I don't want to waste an entire dish. Maybe it goes back and goes to someone else. I'm not quite sure how the policy works. All I know is that you pay for what you touch. Okay, so just to elaborate on what I said, one of the guys working here came past and picked up 2 dishes that I did not touch. And he picked them up and put them on the ladies' table behind me there and gave them to them. So clearly nothing goes to waste here. Okay, so total bill was 125,000 rupiah, which is a lot of money for Indonesia. However, if you are to compare it to many other countries, for a meal like that, in a place like that, with the city's politicians and policemen around you and people in their best clothes, traditional clothes, then I'd say it's fairly reasonable if you take all of that into account. And I want to wash everything down at one of the most famous coffee institutions here in Banda Aceh, which has a deep history of coffee. I think it's worth noting while I'm walking that if you're a foreigner like me in Indonesia, you will probably also experience this. No one really walks here. They take their motorbikes. And that's why you never really have pedestrian pathways. It's always kind of connected to the road. In many cities around Indonesia, your walking experience is usually right by traffic for the majority of your journey. It's not really designed here for pedestrians. Everyone gets by on the bikes or in the cars. It's closed. Maybe because it's prayer time. That must be the reason. There's tons of people outside the mosque right now. Considering that it's a Friday, it makes sense. So while the prayer's going on and the mosque is full of activity, why not take a closer look while we wait? Look at the amount of sandals there. I just came out. It is absolutely packed. Look at this same road now. Just a couple of people here and there. All right, prayer over. Salon Coffee is now open. So I've asked for the kopi sanggo, which is coffee with condensed milk. They strain it through a huge sock-like strainer, as you saw him very skillfully doing. Look at that. It's almost touching his head. That is the kopi sangga. So let's try. Look at the foam on the top there. That is just a thing of beauty. It's got that right amount of coffee flavor and bitterness, but also sweet. In a city where there's no alcohol, no gambling, and many other rules, you could say, then coffee is something that in the Islamic world many use as their kind of drug, you could say. It's the same in the Middle East and other parts of the world. Coffee is a big thing in a lot of Islamic places. That's why it's a strong coffee culture here in Banda Aceh, and of course in Sumatra, because they grow the coffee beans here in Sumatra, both Robusta and Arabica. One thing I also want to mention is that there are many different branches of Salon Coffee across the city. This is the oldest and the original. It's called Uli Correct. So if you want to track it down, then make sure you come to this one if you want the original one. If you want to pick up some Sumatran coffee, then you can check out the roastery just next door. They have many different types available. So I have just taken a grab here to Uli Luwei Beach on the north coast here of Banda Aceh to hopefully catch the sunset. This is the beach and there's a lot of individual stalls here. Maybe if I walk up a little bit further, I can find a point to catch the ocean front.
Kalau ibu jual mie, berapa lah laku sate?
People sitting on chairs, admiring the view. Corn and coconuts. Assalamualaikum. I just need to keep walking straight to get onto this bit here where I'll be able to have a better view of everything else, the islands and the coastline. So having walked over, I have the best view here. That is Ware Island in the distance. I will be taking a ferry there in a couple of days' time. Another island over there. The end of Sumatra, the northern tip just here. Some fishermen here while the sun is setting. Please let me know if you're a local, if this was built after the tsunami. I know that 90% of the coral here was destroyed by the tsunami. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. For now, I'm just going to soak in this scene, grab some dinner, and then I will call it a day for today. Hello and welcome back to Banda Aceh. It is the next day. Hello.
Hey, come here. Here's the ornament Aceh.
What's this?
Yes, graphite glass.
Oh, glass. Yeah, I see.
Yes. Notice it.
Oh,
It's glass. It's handmade. Handmade.
very nice. Showing me their glass art. And so in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about one of the most catastrophic events, natural events of the 21st century. And that was the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami, which absolutely devastated the city of Banda Aceh and northern and western Sumatra. 15 other countries, 16 countries in total had deaths. And it was a 9.1 magnitude earthquake which triggered a tsunami across the Indian Ocean. 226,000 people lost their lives. 173,000 of them were Indonesian. And here, Aceh was one of the worst affected places. I'll show a map of where the earthquake struck. You can see how close it is to Sumatra and why at the northern tip here it was so badly affected. There is a tsunami museum here which I have just visited. It's 15,000 rupiah to enter, and in there you will see various images of the streets here completely flooded, the devastation that it caused, the deaths, the displacement of people. Because it's a Saturday, it was very crowded when I was in there, I have to say. And it's kind of a one-way route, you make your way round. It's mostly in Indonesian, so you just kind of soak in the modern museum and the pictures and the atmosphere of the place. I'm sure many of you remember that day. I certainly do. Even though I was 9 years old, I remember quite distinctly being at my grandparents' house for Christmas, and on Boxing Day waking up in the morning and my grandpa telling me there had been a tsunami. And I remember seeing the images on TV on that Boxing Day morning, and it has stuck with me ever since. So here we are, I think, at the place, this shipment vessel. This large power supply vessel is a symbol of the tsunami today, a piece of history. It was dragged 5 kilometers all the way to the city by the powerful water. Now the cool thing about this is you can actually climb on deck. So you can walk around the vessel. So an unexpected surprise are the views here from the top. You can see all the surrounding city, the backdrop of clouds and foresty mountains. volcano in the background there. The Indonesian flag flying high. Following visiting that vessel, I have made my way back to near where I'm staying, La Hostel, and I'm now going to grab dinner. Just passing the river here, rush hour traffic booming beside me. And right here we have Satay Padang from West Sumatra. I've got daging, beef, and ayam chicken. So it's a little bit different to the satay you may know, which is the more nutty browny satay. I believe this one has a more kind of turmeric base to it, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Satay is a must try in Indonesia. If you're not familiar with satay in this part of Southeast Asia, then it is generally skewers of meats, which are then dipped in a rich kind of sauce, whether that's this sauce or a peanut one. And it also usually comes with cubed rice. And you'll notice them on the street because you'll see the smoke blowing across as they're fanning the smoke coming off the grill. Okay, so following the satay, I am walking back to the hostel. I'm going to end things here. I hope this gave you a taste of Banda Aceh. In the next video, I'm going to take a ferry to Ware Island, just across the way as I showed earlier. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.